Ali sprinted through the bazaar, leaping over the barrels and dodging the carpet salesman. His heart was pounding in his ears, his gorge was rising in his throat, and as his bare feet pounded the hot dirt, he felt like he was going to black out. Yet even when he finally escaped from the canopied warren of stalls and carts and crushes of people, there was no escaping his own terror. The marketplace! As he bent and gasped for breath, the soothsayer approached him. And as the soothsayer pulled down the hood of his robe, he said to Ali, "Hello, friend. Do you feel exhausted and overwhelmed by the marketplace? Would you like to authentically grow your soul-centered business with clarity and purpose? Would you like to do less with more ease and more focus? Would you like to thrive your way to a 6 or even 7-figure income by offering your ideal clients deeply transformative, valuable content without wasting time on costly mistakes? Would you like to cut through the noise in a content oversaturated world and speak only to people hungry to buy? Would you like to land your first 5-figure client in just weeks or even days, even if you have no experience and nobody has ever heard of you?" Ali looked up into the soothsayer's hypnotic gaze and felt his panic subsiding. He nodded dumbly. The soothsayer smiled and beckoned. "I guarantee that if you do exactly as I say, all this shall be yours within weeks or even days. Right this way." He ducked into a shadowy alley. Ali followed. The soothsayer led him into a small temple. Ali coughed from the incense smoke that filled the air. When the smoke cleared, he saw an altar at the far end of the temple. The altar was laden with oranges, rubies, saffron, precious silks, and gold and silver coins from every land. And presiding over the altar was a little clay statuette. The soothsayer prostrated himself before the statuette. "Bow before the goddess of clarity," he instructed Ali. "The business of your dreams will be yours if you just make a certain sacrifice to her right now. If, however, you do not make this sacrifice to her, you will soon die the death of a destitute, homeless, starving beggar, and the angels will weep for you." He looked Ali in the eye once again with his hypnotic gaze. Ali trusted this gaze. "This is the only way, friend," said the soothsayer. "I am telling you this because I believe in you, and I care about you, and I know you want to serve. It is your responsibility to your ideal clients to make this sacrifice." "What do I have to do?" said Ali, locking eyes with the soothsayer. "For a limited time, as a very special offer, all you have to do is lay 10,000 golden shekels on the altar of clarity, and then close your eyes and say a special prayer where you manifest abundance 10 times. And then if you do exactly this and you truly manifest the law of attraction, then I guarantee you your 7-figure business of ease and soul-centered service will be yours, and you will be landing ideal, high-paying clients within weeks. So, what currency would you like me to process your offering in?" I don't have 10,000 golden shekels, faltered Ali. Entrepreneurs who are truly hungry to serve their ideal clients always find a way to take bold action. Are you not a hungry entrepreneur, friend? Are you not the kind of person who takes bold action? Said the soothsayer with soft but firm tones. I guess so, said Ali. Let's talk about some credit you could leverage. I don't have any credit, said Ali. But he really wanted the money the soothsayer guaranteed would be his, and he trusted the soothsayer. Look, if you're serious about doing this, we need to do it right now. I can't talk with you a second time, said the soothsayer. I talk with a lot of entrepreneurs, and if I gave everyone a second talk, I wouldn't have time for my true disciples. So Ali ran out of the temple and slaughtered his aging uncle, took his aging uncle's possessions, and sold them to a pirate for the 10th of their worth. Then he robbed the king's grain storerooms and managed to escape the guards. And then he cut off his left foot, hey, at least it wasn't his right foot, and sold it to a witch. And finally he had the 10,000 golden shekels. He ran back to the Temple of Clarity, where the soothsayer was waiting for him. Great, said the soothsayer, smiling. I'm so excited for you. Now, just lay the shekels on the altar and then retreat backwards with your eyes closed, reciting the law of attraction. Then sit on your heels, touching your tongue with your nose, still with your eyes closed, and say, I manifest abundance with my soul-centered business 100 times. And when you open your eyes, your prayers will have been answered. Ali did exactly as he was told. He laid his 10,000 golden shekels on top of the oranges, the silks, the jewels, the spices, and the gold and silver. And as he stepped backwards with his eyes closed, he thought he heard a shuffling sound. But he was too busy reciting. And when he finally finished reciting his prayer, he opened his eyes. He wasn't sure what he was expecting, but everything in the temple was exactly the same, except that now the soothsayer and Ali's 10,000 golden shekels were gone. Ali didn't know what to make of it. He had done exactly as he was told, so now the goddess of clarity would reward him with a 7-figure income based on ease, ideal clients, and freedom, right? Ali wandered out into the street. Nothing was different, except that now he only had 1 foot. He wandered back to his family's house, and nothing was different, except that now that his grandfather was dead, the house was empty. He wandered through the alleys, and nothing was different, except that now the king's soldiers were hunting for the thief who had raided the storerooms. He wasn't sure what he was expecting, but he had really trusted the soothsayer. It was that hypnotic gaze. But that 7-figure income, it was surely on his way to him now, right? Weeks went by. Months went by. Nothing happened except that Ali, who had previously been poor, was now completely destitute and starving. He never saw the soothsayer again. He returned to the temple and stared at the statuette of the goddess of clarity, but he realized that he was just staring at a piece of clay, and that people before him had decided was sacred. But finally, one day, as he was chewing on one of his sandals that he had boiled, his left sandal, since he didn't need it anymore, he had an idea. What if giving a lot of money to a soothsayer and praying to a clay statue of clarity at an altar was not the only way to start a business? Nourished by his nice fresh sandal, he returned to the marketplace, and he realized he was no longer scared of the marketplace because so much had gone wrong. He had already lost so much, and he had already felt like such a fool. And his poor goat was so dang hungry that a silly little old marketplace no longer held any scariness for him. He also realized that now he had absolutely nothing to sell. But maybe this was an advantage. His one-footedness did give him a certain rakish cachet, he decided. So he hobbled to the center of the marketplace and he cleared his throat. And he sang out, "What'll you give me for a dream?" And at first, nobody looked his way. But then he soon learned that if he caught people's eye in just the right way and gave them a moment of feeling like he was really listening to them, and he really did listen to them in that moment, they soon came his way. So then he tried this. "What'll you give me for a dream?" He showed up in the middle of the marketplace every day, and he stood there and he sang out his call. And every day he showed up and he learned how to catch people's eye by doing it over and over. He tried all kinds of different things himself, and he found out what worked for him and what didn't work for him. He tried singing his song in all different ways and paid attention to what ways made people look his way and what ways didn't. Yeah, he made a ton of mistakes, and that's how he learned. He also noticed that as people got more used to him being there, they started to look at him more. He noticed that sometimes people had to look at him many times before eventually coming to him, and that was fine. Because eventually they did start to come, and not because he had prayed, and not because he had given anybody his 10,000 golden shekels. They came because he showed up, he paid attention, he learned by doing, he tried things, he made mistakes, he listened to the people around him, and he took note of what worked and what didn't work. At first it was a few coppers here and there. Over time it was more. And whenever Ali got money, he spent some of it on his real needs and his goat, and some of it on his business, and he saved some of it. And eventually, after making many mistakes and accidentally doing many things right, and developing confidence in himself based on all this history he now had with the marketplace, Ali found that he was now a prosperous fat merchant in a silk turban. He still sold only dreams, but over time he'd built up a fine booth in the marketplace with mint tea and little silver glasses and an elegant carpet. And he had some people who came to him over and over. Some people came because their friends went. Some people came because they'd heard of him. Some people came because of the fancy booth. And some people came because of the way Ali had learned over time his own unique way of looking at people and making them feel seen and special and valuable in one single heartbeat. You see, Ali had learned the art of creating an atmosphere that made people want to go into his booth all on their own. And he learned that what people really wanted, more than they wanted lamps or goats or cinnamon, was they wanted dreams. They wanted dreams more than anything. And when he asked them to pay a lot for these dreams, the people took these dreams very seriously. And then, because they took them very seriously, they went home and made them happen. And one day, he brought home 10,000 golden shekels from selling one single dream. The circle was complete, but different. He smiled. And that night in his dreams, the goddess of clarity came to him. She didn't look anything like the clay statue he had seen in the temple all those years ago, but he knew her right away and realized he had been seeing her face here and there more and more often in his years of standing in the marketplace and selling dreams. "Hello," he smiled. "Hello, old friend," she smiled back. "You were always waiting for me, weren't you?" he said. "Yes." "Why didn't you come for me when the soothsayers stole my 10,000 golden shekels?" The goddess of clarity looked at him and just laughed. "Come on," she said, "I'm the goddess of clarity. I don't happen at the beginning of a story. I happen bit by bit over time as a result of your actions and what you learn from them. I am a side effect, not a catalyst." Ali sat with her and realized that although she was happy to sit with him right now, he knew she was never going to be 100% permanently present with him or with anyone. He realized that she was always going to come and go, and he would only ever see her in glimpses. He was always going to have to move forward with a certain amount of doubt, never quite knowing and never quite sure. He was always going to make mistakes. He was always going to have to work at things and try things and sometimes win and sometimes lose, and that was how he was going to keep learning as best as he could and evolving and growing. "That's the nature of business," she said, kissing his brow. "Good job, Ali." And then in the morning, the great merchant Ali, the seller of dreams, woke up and he headed back to the marketplace to try again. And that's the end of the story. And if you, like Ali, would like to change your story of your business, then make sure to message me at Jordana Del Feld, and we'll have a lot of fun.